I think, well above expectations, especially since how well Houston played last year and how big of an offseason the Angels had.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I for sure would have had the Mariners finishing at exactly 500 this year. I mean, I am still stunned that they're 20 over. They haven't been this high up since the early 2000s, right after the 116 wins. At the end of the day, I could see us winning first, but not. It is going to be no cakewalk. And I think though that for us to maintain first place, the X factor is not the offense. It is not the starting, which is overachieving in of itself. It is the bullpen. So, for example, Jerry Dipoto, he acquired Juan Nicasio on a 2-year deal, $17 million, and he has been our weakest link. Every time that he comes in, there are at least 2 base hits by the opponent in the inning. And when you look at the Astros, I mean, their bullpen, they had some human moments last year. Like, for example, Ken Giles had a rough World Series, but they seem to have more of a trustworthy bullpen. So, for example, Edwin Diaz, he is still really young and not really proven, unlike, for example, Kimbrel or Giles. So I would say the Mariners are a playoff team, but the bullpen has got to get its act together soon, or the Stros are going to sail away with the AL West. What is good about today is that the with our sweep against the Angels, that sort of knocks them back because they were creeping up in the standings, and now they're either 6.5 back or 7 back. So really now what's interesting, guys, about the AL race is that really for the wild card, it is pretty much you guys, us, Yankees, Stros, but only a matter of who will rank where. Because the next closest teams right now are the Angels and A's, who are almost double digit back. So it's really interesting. So I smell playoffs for the M's, but they need that bullpen's got to do better. So we'll see. But yes. I am stunned. I am stunned beyond belief. Yeah, it's
definitely stunned here too. And definitely. I mean, the Angels are 7.5 back. Ohtani's out could be the whole out, which is huge. And because he was really helping that team out a lot.
Oh, and
so you have some overachievers, obviously. I think a guy that overachieved last year but is now might be the real deal is Paxton, who's been lights out this year. And then, the flip side of that was your former ace and lights out guy was King Felix, who's struggling recently. So how's that change going in Seattle, where King Felix is almost like, I feel like you don't even want to roll him out there anymore, and you want to pitch him every other night?
Right. Yeah. Well, that is exactly it. I mean, how often is it that your weakest pitcher thus far, at least, is Felix Hernandez? And in terms of ERA, proof is in the pudding. His ERA is, if you round up, it's 6.
Oh yeah.
And you can just tell when he is hanging balls that he had better control with and just more movement on before. So now it's basically like he's lobbing it to the opposing hitters. Paxton, you are spot on. He is for sure the new ace. Actually, a small part of me kind of wants the Mariner fans to put down their K signs because, Felix, he is not striking out as many guys. You won't see as many double-digit performances now versus a guy like Pax, who is for sure the ace, and he is just dominant because, let's just define an ace here. It is your number one pitcher, but also for an ace, a poor start is an anomaly. And for Felix, I can name one good start that he's had this year. No, 2. The first game of the year against the Tribe, and then
8 starts ago.
Right. Yeah. So, and for example, Paxton, he is close. I will use your own Sale as as our ace like standard here.
Oh yeah.
Paxton is much more like Sale. Felix is kind of like Porcello right now. They are both perennially good, but there's something going on. So I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, he started when he was 19. He could just be losing that swagger, Felix. But if he wants to stay in the league, the other players, the opposing hitters, they have caught up to him. So now Felix has got to catch up to the catch-up. So
he's not throwing. His arm's hanging. He needs to learn how to pitch, not throw anymore.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. No. It's and there had been rumors that he has come to camp, overweight when you are supposed to not do that, and it's just he's just not. He is not doing it. And what really worries me, and I'm sure I speak for all of Mariner Nation here, is the lack of strikeouts, because that was how he lived and breathed. And now, I mean, it's when you're hanging pitches, even if the hitter gets out, it's still a really loud out. And for example, against you guys, where you're stacked beyond belief, it's just he'll get shelled. I mean, unless he is the 2012 perfect game Felix in this upcoming series, I can see you guys scoring 6 or 7 against just him alone. So he really needs to watch out and he needs to learn from James Paxton. It's just really weird, but
I'm wondering if it's surgery on one end of the spectrum, or if it's simply kind of like what you guys are saying is he kind of needs to adapt to his advanced age, especially where he did come in young, and maybe kind of take a similar path to what CC Sabathia has taken, and who's pitched very well the last couple of years, and I think he's like 38 years old or so. So, he's got 2 courses he can take, and hopefully for you guys, he'll figure it out. You're also getting some really good quality starts out of Wade LeBlanc, who I'm not really familiar with, but he's started, 8 games so far. He's got a 3.0 ERA, and then also Marco Gonzalez has basically started all year, and he's got a 3.42 ERA. So sounds like these guys are some really key cogs in the overachievement of your team so far.
Yeah, I mean, well, and we're all kind of holding our breath in terms of Marco, because he was traded for the vaunted Tyler O'Neill, who was looked at to be a big Mariners phenom, and he just totally defines the overachieving aspect. And he was one of the many substitutes last year when we tied a record for 40 pitchers used. He did not do very well last year, but now, I mean, he's our solid 3-hole. Wade LeBlanc, he is the textbook overachieving, because in terms of preseason, our actual 5-hole starter was supposed to be Erasmo Ramirez, and Erasmo got injured, but now he is kind of being unintentionally succeeded by Wade, because he's a fill-in 5th, so he's a 6th basically, and his ERA is he is lighting it up. Erasmo, he in a game against the Tribe, he allowed 3 jacks in just the first inning alone. Every single one of LeBlanc's starts has been quality. So if like, for example, let's say Felix maybe starts to lose it, and like DePoto wants to deal him for some young talent, Wade LeBlanc is no ace, but he's in terms of the future, he is a keeper. And in terms of Marco, we'll see which one shows up, because last year he was very prone to, the first part of the game he was fine, he was knocking hitters around, and then about midway through, the hitters knocked him around, and he would get shelled. But he's just, and let us not forget actually about Mike Leake, who is the 5th starter, or he is the last starter who we have not mentioned. He was acquired after the August deadline last year from the Cards, and he's been just every single one of his starts has been a quality start too, just like Wade LeBlanc. So really, yeah, I think but you are right though. The 3 of our 5 starters are overachieving. Felix and Paxton they have proven themselves. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, I just think the like real X factor is actually the setup guy. Because, we just acquired Alex Colomé from your Eastern rival Tampa.
Thank you.
And he is, yeah, and he's been very human in his first few outings as a Mariner, and then before
we hit him well too. So just a heads up.
Right.
We actually did. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Most of the damage actually was probably done by us because I had him on my fantasy team and we knocked him around, and then I cut him, and he started to put together a nice spring, but
yeah, he's solid, but he definitely can be a little human at times. I think for me, one of the big things is the lineup and young lineup that you have, and not like Segura is young, but he's only 28. Ryan Healy, which was a great trade acquisition, who had a really, really rough start to the year, is turning it around. He's batting around 250 right now, but he can hit for pop, and he does hit home runs. You have Seager, obviously going to hit home runs. T. Gordon was another great pickup. I just really like the pickups that you guys have gotten the last couple of years, and Colomé being another one that, you need another bullpen guy. And, how do you feel about your general manager who was kind of run out of town a little bit? I know Terry wanted to jump into that, so he can take over for that.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, if you guys like him, Jerry Dipoto, he, like we were just kind of hinting at, the Angels kind of. He had basically a behind-the-scenes tug-of-war with Mike Scioscia, and, he kind of gets run out of town. He actually came to the Red Sox. Ben Cherington hired him as kind of a consultant to help him evaluate the major league roster and the minor league system. And then, awkwardly, Cherington gets fired. Dombrowski comes in, and Dipoto just kind of kept, he just kind of hung around the rest of the season and advised Dombrowski, and then took the job with you guys. And so now his old team, the Angels, are kind of looking up at you guys right now, and we're just kind of wondering, how do the people of Seattle, feel about the job that he's done? Because he's definitely done a lot of wheeling and dealing.
Oh yeah, no, he has done a great job. He actually got some backlash. I overheard other fans and friends of mine saying, he has made a lot of moves. That is not good for a GM to do if you're making all those moves. But no, yeah, sure, a lot of his moves, they have worked out great. I mean, take the Taiwan Walker plus Ketel Marte for Segura and Haniger deal. Mitch Haniger has 16 jacks as of our sweep today, and he was essentially that trade's throw-in. I mean, the beef of that trade for each side respectively, it was Taiwan for the D-backs, and it was Gene Segura for us. And Gene is having a great year. He was flirting with 400 recently, but yeah, Mitch, he is headed to the All-Star game. But yeah, bottom line, he was an add-on, and I think in terms of D's great. He, and you see his positivity every game. He is jumping from inside the dugout to the field when a guy hits a go-ahead home run. He is high-fiving everyone. He's fast. He is very reminiscent of a young Ichiro, because you can just see he psychs the opposing fielders out. So unless he hits a ground ball that is right to the fielder and has some oomph on it, you are not getting him out. And also, he was actually getting adjusted during his time at center field. He had never played there before with his previous clubs, but now, thanks to Robbie's steroids, he is back at second. But he is all positivity, and yeah, in like terms of Ryan Healy, he's the first Mariner first baseman